The arena carried a strange combination of anticipation and fatigue, the kind that usually settles in when one team has built a comfortable lead. With a 15-point cushion separating the two sides, many fans had relaxed into the rhythm of what looked like a predictable finish. Some were scrolling through their phones, others chatting casually, and a few were even making their way toward the exits to beat the post-game traffic. Players on the court mirrored the mood, running their sets efficiently, but without the desperate urgency that defines tight late-game moments. Yet anyone who has followed basketball long enough knows that even when the outcome feels decided, the game always has room for one final twist. Just when the commentators had shifted into their wind-down voices, something changed. Their tone sharpened, bouncing upward with a note of sudden curiosity. "Wait, hold on. Something's happening here," one of them said, pulling the attention of millions back to the court in an instant. Luka Doncic drove to the basket with the kind of slow, controlled force he's known for, absorbing contact and preparing to finish the play. The whistle sounded. Clear. Loud. Decisive. A routine foul call. But Luka didn't stop. Instead, he continued his motion toward the rim, and that tiny decision was the first domino that tipped the entire sequence into chaos. Luka's habit of completing his motion after a whistle is something fans have seen countless times. Superstars often anticipate continuation, a rule that grants the basket if the offensive motion had already begun before the foul. It's instinctual, a rhythm built from repetition. But the defender trailing behind him, Fears, didn't seem to share the same interpretation. The moment Luka kept moving toward the rim, Fears reacted with a defensive swipe across Luka's arms, almost as if the play were still alive. What should have been a dead ball moment instantly turned into a collision of confusion, adrenaline, and split-second decision-making. The crowd's reaction was immediate and electric. A wave of noise rolled from one end of the arena to the other as Luka spun around, eyes locked on Fears, body stiffening in visible frustration. Their faces closed in, shrinking the space between them until their foreheads brushed ever so slightly. Not a full headbutt, but certainly enough to make the moment feel combustible. The commentators attempted to play it off with humor, joking that the two players were simply debating dinner plans, but their voices carried an undertone of caution. Everyone watching, from courtside seats to living rooms across the world, could sense that a line had been crossed, even if only by inches. What made the moment truly controversial wasn't the initial foul, but everything that happened afterward. Looney had committed the original foul, but once the whistle blew, the play was effectively over. That's what made Fears' swipe so volatile. Dead ball contact is treated differently, judged more harshly, and scrutinized far more intensely. Luka felt the tug on his arms, stumbled, then immediately turned back toward Fears. It wasn't anger for the sake of drama. It was the kind of instinctive reaction any competitor would have when touched unnecessarily in a dead ball situation. The replay slowed everything down. Fears' hand grabbing at Luka's forearms, Luka's feet adjusting to maintain balance, and then the two players stepping into each other. Teammates from both sides noticed instantly, moving toward the confrontation before it could escalate. Even their body language told a story. The half steps closer, the guarded stances, the quick glances at the referees. Everyone knew something bigger was about to unfold. The officials, understanding the weight of the moment, immediately signaled for a video review. The arena buzzed with anticipation as the tension settled into every corner of the floor. The referees huddled around the monitor, watching every angle the cameras had to offer. From the baseline cam to the overhead bird's-eye shot, each replay painted the same picture: whistle, continuation attempt, dead ball swipe, confrontation. The commentators broke the sequence down for viewers, explaining how defenders naturally stop once they hear a whistle, while offensive stars sometimes complete the motion to secure continuation. But in this case, Fears' extra swipe was undeniably after the whistle, and Luka's decision to close the distance afterward couldn't be ignored. Eventually, the lead referee stepped away from the monitor and faced the crowd.
The arena gradually quieted, everyone waiting for the ruling. After review, the ref announced, we have dead ball contact by Fears pulling on Luka Doncic's arms. Luka then closes space unnecessarily. We will assess double technical fouls, one on Doncic, one on Fears. Technicals will offset, and we will shoot the penalty free throws. The announcement triggered a wave of reactions, cheers, boos, arguments, shrugs. Suddenly, a game that had felt over now had fire in its veins again. The moment had transformed into a highlight, the time that gets replayed, discussed, debated, and dissected long after the buzzer. While the confrontation drew the spotlight, something more subtle and potentially more serious happened earlier in the play. As Luka went up for his initial motion, his legs shifted into an awkward split upon landing. One foot extended too far outward, the other bent slightly inward, creating the kind of imbalance players fear because it can strain the groin or hip in an instant. The slow-motion replay captured it in painful clarity, and the commentators didn't miss it either. That's how you injure a groin, one of them mourned, emphasizing the unnatural angle of the landing. Later, when the broadcast cut to the Mavericks bench, Luka sat with a noticeable expression of discomfort. He adjusted his legs several times, stretching periodically as though testing whether the pain was lingering. It wasn't severe enough to force him out of the game, but it was clear that he felt something, a pull, a tightness, an irritation. Fans watching at home sensed it too. They had seen this pattern before, a star player trying to shake off discomfort, hoping adrenaline will carry them through. Whether it was serious or not, the uncertainty added another layer of tension to an already charged moment. When the game resumed, something unspoken hung in the air. Luka walked to the free throw line with a sharpness that hadn't been there earlier, as if the confrontation had ignited a deeper competitive fire. His eyes narrowed, jaw tightened, and his dribbling rhythm shifted from casual to purposeful. Teammates gave him subtle nods, acknowledging the shift in energy. Even Fears, now guarding him with renewed intensity, seemed determined to prove that he wasn't rattled. What had started as a routine possession had now turned into a battle of pride and presence. The crowd, sensing the change, locked back into the game. Every dribble, every shot, every possession carried an extra weight. Even though the scoreboard still showed a wide margin, the atmosphere felt like a single-possession thriller. Players moved quicker, screens hit harder, and defensive rotations sharpened. The tension from the earlier altercation had spilled into the overall gameplay, turning what should have been a quiet finish into a dramatic, emotionally charged finale.
Basketball has always been more than a series of baskets and breaks. It's a living narrative, a clash of personalities, pride, and passion that unfolds in real time. The altercation between Luka and Fears wasn't a fight, nor was it a moment of chaos simply for entertainment. It was a snapshot of competitive fire, the kind that separates casual players from competitors who pour everything into every moment, even when the score seems out of reach. These moments illustrate the razor-thin line between aggression and composure, and why fans stay glued to their screens waiting for something unexpected to happen. Every season, certain plays fade into obscurity, while others carve their way into basketball lore. This moment, born from confusion, contact, adrenaline, and pride, became one of those defining scenes. It reminded fans that the emotional heartbeat of basketball can shift in an instant. Games are not only won through execution, but shaped through energy, momentum, and heated exchanges that expose the raw spirit of the sport. Long after the final buzzer, people would remember this moment not for its drama, but for what it revealed about the players involved.
As the final minutes ticked away, the game itself seemed to take a back seat to the storyline that had emerged. Fans debated the call, replayed the altercation on their phones, and argued about who was right and who escalated the moment. Luka and Fears each returned to focusing on basketball, but the spark they created became the defining pulse of the night. This is the magic of the NBA. One unexpected moment can flip the entire mood of a game and stay etched in memory far longer than the score or the stats. And if you enjoyed experiencing this dramatic moment through the video, make sure you stay connected with us. Hit the like button to support the content. Drop a comment telling us what you think of the Luka Fears confrontation. And subscribe to the channel for more intense NBA breakdowns, reactions, and storytelling just like this. Your engagement helps us bring you more high-quality basketball content every single day. Stay tuned, because in the NBA, the next unforgettable moment is always just one play away.